What's up, 412? Yo, I'm not the only one preaching tonight. I got some help. Up here tonight. And this is 412 graduating class of 2018. Can y'all celebrate them for a second? Look at this. How cool is this? We have over 42 active seniors who are attending 412, and couldn't be more proud of them. And where are my sixth graders at? Do I have any sixth graders in the house? Come on, where are you at, sixth graders? All right. Y'all are up next. And so senior night is always a fun opportunity for us, for me to give opportunity to this senior class to speak wisdom to you guys. And so if you're on social media, we have a few questions to kind of get us started that we got from social media the last couple days. As always, make sure you're following us at 412fam on Instagram and Twitter. And we're going to start with those questions, but we need more questions. As we start to get into some conversations here tonight, if you have a question that you want to ask the senior class, and they're here tonight to give you any wisdom that they got, they're on their way out. They're only going to have 412 as a youth ministry for a few more weeks, and then they're moving on to the next stage of their life. And they want to speak wisdom into you tonight. So here's the number on the screen. If you text that number on the screen, that is an anonymous Google document that it'll send it to, and you can get that. Guys in the back will then take that, send it to my laptop right here in the front, and I will be able to ask your questions tonight. So if you have a question for the senior class, the graduating class of 412 2018, that is the way that you can do that. But to get us started, what's going to happen is I have Lindsay over here. Everyone give it up for Lindsay in the yellow. And I have Tara over here. Everyone give it up for Tara over here. As we ask questions, the seniors are going to say, yeah, I'd love to speak life into those that are younger because we value you and we have something to share with you. And as they raise their hand, we're going to pass them a mic, and they're going to be able to speak some wisdom tonight, and I couldn't be more excited about it. So start bringing in the questions, and it is going to be super fun. So to kind of get this thing started from social media, last night we had a few questions coming in. And let's go ahead and start this way. At JR Martinez 01, he asked, what is something that you wish that you should have done before you became a senior? What is something that you wish you would have done before you became a senior? Anybody have any response to that question tonight?
I wish I had connected to God earlier, because I started pursuing my relationship with God my senior year, and I think I could have grown a lot more and spread the gospel more throughout high school if I had connected to him earlier.
Wow,
so,
that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. And yeah. Anybody else? Any other senior want to add to that? Something you wish you would have done before, you didn't, before you became a senior?
I would say I would have enjoyed to serve at a younger age than I started. Mostly because when you serve, you're given an opportunity to have an influence. So, you guys have great influence right now. You guys influence me every single time I step here, every single time I'm in the front. So doesn't matter the age you're at. Just take the opportunity to serve, because you guys are a big light in this city. So just take advantage of that.
Yeah, it's incredible. Thank you.
We got Bree right here.
I definitely wish that I would have found the friends I have now before senior year, because without them, I wouldn't be where I am now with my relationship with God. So just surrounding yourself with people that love God as much as you do will definitely help your relationship grow more.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, that's so good. Over here?
I wish that I would have realized how big of a mission field my high school is, honestly, because right now, as I'm finishing the senior year and during senior year, I was oh, I need to make sure I'm telling more people about Jesus during this year I'm about to be gone. And I wish I would have realized that sooner, because it definitely is. There's so many people we come in contact with every single day that we could be sharing the gospel with.
Yeah, that's so good. That's good. Go ahead.
I definitely would have gotten more involved in church and like in school. Like I run production stuff and I've been doing that for a while, but I never really got super involved in church, and that honestly led to the relationships that Ashlyn's talking about, like the godly relationships that are gonna make senior year go by so much smoother.
Yeah, that's really good. All right, Jenna, go ahead.
I wish I would have done what I wanted to do instead of what my friends wanted me to do or what I felt like I should do, because I did a lot of things as an underclassman that just didn't bring me joy, but they were what my friends were doing. And I also, one of those things is coming to 412. Like, for the longest time, I didn't want to come by myself, and so I didn't come. But don't be afraid to come by yourself if your friend doesn't want to come with you, because there's so many nice people here, and they're not going to ignore you.
Yeah, that's so good. So good. All right, we're going to do one more on this question, and then we're going to move on. So, Grant, take us home.
So like the past month, I've been working really hard to try to get like some of my friends that don't go to church on a regular basis to come here and just like experience God and get to like be with everybody here. And I would say don't wait to do that. Like if you have some friends that you know that are struggling or are just like they're not church friends. Like, you don't talk about church with them. That's not a good thing. But I mean, get them here. Like Jimmy will do the rest. He'll be up here spitting fire, preaching, bringing everybody together. So I mean, I wish I would have been doing that since I first started coming here instead of waiting the last month and a half. But that's my piece of advice for you guys.
Yeah, that's so good. Thank you. At Gavin W. Garrett 0413 asks, what is your favorite food? What's your favorite food? Yeah.
I don't care where you get it from, but a nice Texas cheeseburger.
Hey.
That's what's up. That's what. Yeah.
Where's your go-to spot? Where's your go-to spot?
My go-to spot for like anywhere.
Where's your go-to spot?
I really listen.
Daddy-O's.
Listen.
Daddy-O's.
Okay. Nebraska's is good, but I really like Willy Burger.
Hey. Hey. All right.
I know my boy Diego will agree with this, but I love me some tacos.
Hey, that's racist.
Especially tacos de bomba. No, it's not.
Tacos de Mama, that's great.
Tacos de
Go.
Bomba's the best.
Definitely, hands down, chocolate.
What'd she say? Chocolate? That's a good answer. Get it. Y'all, yeah, work these mics fast. Get after it. Let's go.
Okay, sorry. Chick-fil-A nuggets. Jen knows I go there almost every day, so.
Okay, I wouldn't agree with Emily on that. Just saying, tacos are it's like number 5 for me. So I would say some Asian food. Some Asian food. That's the way to go. All day, every day.
That's good. 2 more. We're gonna do 2 more.
Y'all already know. Some Chick-fil-A.
Hey!
Let's go.
Big Cat loves his own.
I'd take anything from Whataburger. Anything.
Incredible. All right, so we have a lot of questions in here. I'm actually seeing this question about 4 or 5 times, which is really cool. And they're really wanting to know how you have grown in your relationship with God. Looking back over the years, maybe somebody share your story about how you've grown in your relationship with God over the last few years of high school and even junior high. Here.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I was invited here during my junior year. I would definitely say, and I came from a Catholic background, so my focus really shifted from being in just a Christian mindset to being in a Christian mindset that's motivated towards leading me towards God, towards learning about God, towards using the gospel in my daily life. That was something that was definitely a revelation because of 412.
Yeah.
So that's something. Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Incredible.
I didn't really grow up going to church. I attended like once or twice whenever I was really young. But I live with my grandma, so there's always been like a really big age gap. And so we haven't really connected, or we hadn't until like this year. So I lived in San Antonio, and I didn't really go to church. I didn't really have a God mindset. I'm not ashamed to admit that. Like, I chose to ignore him on purpose. And so moving here and getting the opportunity to come to 412 was like changing my life. Like, it really opened my eyes to see what God was doing for me, to see that he had been working in my life from the moment I was born. Like the blessings he had put in my life that I hadn't even realized. So I think 412 really opened my eyes to like look into the past to see what he's doing, and to also look into the future to see what he can do for me. So yeah.
Well, thank you.
Growing up, I always knew who God was, but I never had that relationship with him. And so it wasn't until I started coming to 412 that I realized that I needed him every day in my life. Like, I needed to wake up and just connect with him before I start my day, or it's not going to go as it should go. And so, coming to 412 taught me to wake up every morning and give it to him before I even start my day.
So for me, my growth has really truly been through the people I've met, like, since coming to 412. It used to be along the lines of, like, I would just be by myself, but I've been able to see the growth in myself through my friends who I've met here, like Sierra and Savannah and Caden and everyone up here. It's easier to be real with them about the gospel and stuff when they come here, so it's easier to be able to open up and grow and learn new things, and to go out and do the small group things together with everyone, and to be able to really truly connect, like, biblically with, like, other people in the entire church, not just the seniors, like the juniors and the sophomores. It's fun to see the growth that not only happens inside of you, but inside of other people once you get to know them.
I've grown.
Wait, what? Oh. Who's got microphones? Oh. Okay, you can go, and then I'll go.
I've grown a lot, especially at a younger age, through some very hard times I went through with losing a family member and going through a divorce. And I can gladly say that I am not the person I am today without going through those experiences. God brought himself into my life through those.
Awesome.
They're whispering at me. So I would say that I'm a lot like Jimmy in this regard, where I was raised in the church. I grew up Methodist, Wesley, right down the road over there. I said the words, I listened to the teachings and all that kind of thing, but it was never, like Kendall said, like a personal thing. It was just kind of something that my parents did, and then I kind of followed them there, and that was just how it was. But coming here, I think like my end of freshman, early sophomore year is whenever it became personal for me. And it stopped being a God that had died on a cross, and it had started being the God that resurrected, you know what I'm saying? So it was an alive God, and it was no longer a dead God to me, and I think that was the biggest coin drop moment, so.
Well, so I've been I've been going to church like my whole life, and I really was just church hopping, as some people say, basically until like 7th grade. And my parents sent me up to 412 back when it was up in that big room up there, or big, and they were like, okay, go, you're the guinea pig, test it out. If you die, just, you'll be okay, you'll live. And yeah, as that works. And so I walk up, and I basically just go in there. I sit in the corner because I'm a loner and I'm boring. And some boy right there named Sam Beard, he was like, little squeaky voice, by the way, I'd like to clarify. He's like, hi, I'm Sam. I'd like to clarify that you can call me Samuel if you want. But he basically just said hi, and I was like, okay, you're mine now. I'm following you. I was like, I'm no longer just sitting here. I'm just going to follow you, and wherever you go, I'm going to go with you. And he introduced me to all his friends. Shout out to Colin. Hi. And he introduced me to all his friends, and he really built the connections that I wouldn't have got by myself. Like, I wouldn't have sought him out, and I would have just came back to my family and been like, oh, it's a bus. Let's just go somewhere else. And Sam went out of his way, and he chose to put himself out there and really, really show God to me. And, I mean, I'm here today graduating, so there you go.
When I was younger, I didn't really have a relationship with God at all. I didn't believe in him.
And I recently got adopted 2 years ago, and my family, we went to a church in Silsbee, and it was like all old people, so I was still like, not really feeling it. Like I didn't, and then I came here, and it was so much different. Seeing so many people my age worshiping God really opened my eyes, and I actually fully accepted God into my heart and decided to live for Him. Winter Retreat 2017. But definitely what's helped me grow the most is having friends around me that keep me accountable and give me confidence in my faith, and staying connected to God and knowing that my worth comes from Him and not from the temporary joys.
All right, we're going to do one more on this one. So Melissa finishes out, and we're going to move on.
So I've also grown up in the church, but while growing up in the church, I'd never really experienced God, or like what they talked about, His overwhelming presence. And I was like, well, I understand that, but what does that even mean? And then coming here and having the worship atmosphere that y'all have here, there were just so many coin drop moments, and it just seemed like all these puzzle pieces of everything I had learned just kind of fell into place. And it was crazy and just incredible. So, yeah.
We're seeing a lot on here where people are asking about some of your favorite things that you've learned about God at your time at 412. And we actually prepared a video ahead of time for this answer. And so this is our video to where we are answering the question, what was one of your favorite things that you learned about God with your time at 412? Why don't you guys check out the screens for this one?
My name is Diego, and my favorite thing I learned about God here at 412 is that God doesn't call the equipped, He equips the called. So even though the road might seem impossible or just narrow, it will be clear and to the point. So just lean on Him and pray on Him always.
My name is Big Cat, and my favorite thing that I've learned about God at 412 is that whatever goes on in my life, whatever happens, that God is always there for me, and He's never going to give up on me. And my 412 family, everyone there, I know that they've got my back, and they're going to support me through it no matter what.
Hey, I'm Bree, and my favorite thing I've learned about God at 412 is that there's no sin too big for Him. No matter what your past is, He can pull you out of that and use you as a vessel for Him to serve in many different ways.
My name is Bree, and my favorite thing I've learned about God at 412 is that not only does He want to have a deep, meaningful relationship with me, but He wants to use that relationship so that I can have relationships with other people in 412 or out of 412, and that He wants to use little me in Beaumont or wherever I may end up to further His kingdom. And I think it's such an incredible thing that God, who made everything, wants to use me in my everyday life.
Hi, my name's Darian. My favorite thing that I've learned about God while at 412 is that the closer you get to Him, the more compelled you feel to respond to how incredible He is.
Hi, my name is Melissa Gibson, and the favorite thing that I've learned about God is that He is faithful. He is trustworthy. There's nothing that we can do apart from Him, and it truly is because of Jesus, like everything. Like, God is love, and because He is love, I can love others, and God is forgiveness, and because He's forgiveness, I can forgive others. And God is truth, and so we can share the truth of the gospel. God is also the light of the world, and because of that, I can be a light and bring kingdom come.
I'm Savannah, and I think the most important thing I've learned about God at 412 is that He's a patient God. He's not going to reprimand you for falling down. He's going to commend you for taking those 2 steps, for learning to walk in Him and get on His back. And He's also very compassionate, and He's very forgiving. He's going to love you regardless.
Hi, my name's Samuel, and I think that the most important thing that I've learned through my years of 412 is that God does not set an age limit on getting His work done in the kingdom. You know, really internalizing what 1 Timothy 4:12 is, and just that God doesn't look down on us, but instead hands us the keys to the kingdom and says, do this work. You know, our society doesn't even want to hand us any responsibility whatsoever, but the fact that God entrusts and instills in us this leadership and getting the work of the kingdom done is incredible. And I'm so grateful for Jimmy and all the Praise Church staff who have poured that into us, and that's probably the greatest truth that I've learned in 412.
Incredible. Incredible. somebody asked this question. I've seen this in here a few times. It says, how has your life changed through the friendships you've made at 412? And how has the motto, because of Jesus, we're a family, changed your life? So the idea of the relationships that you've built at 412, how has that changed your life through the friendships and the family at 412?
It's definitely made seeing like God is love. Like you always hear God is love, God is love, God is love, but making those friendships here, like that just like it's a tangible way to see that. And like I've never been the one with like the huge friend group or like super social, but like the friendships I've made here, like in my small group and like at school and stuff, it's so like relieving and like freeing to know that you can like lean on someone who's going to guide you in the right direction and not have to do everything on your own. And it's so nice to have like just good quality friendships.
If I could even describe how much the family that I've made here meant to me, be a long night. But God says, "But to all who did receive him, who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God." And when you sit here at a normal 412 and get to look around and you look at your brothers and sisters, people who are also paid for by the blood of Christ, and that those people are going to be with you forever. There's nothing like it. I'd die for everybody in here. I really would. You guys are awesome. And I don't know where I would be without the people that have brought me here. So, yeah.
It's incredible.
Love you, Sam.
So, throughout high school, I kind of struggled with what friend group I belonged to or what kind of people to surround myself with. So, I kind of got involved with a friend group that I shouldn't have gotten involved with, and then kind of was by myself for a while. And then I started coming here my senior year, and I have made really, really good friendships here, and I just wish that I would have started coming a lot earlier because the friendships I've made here are incredible, and I feel so welcome, and it's just really, it's just really great because I did go to a church before this, and I've never felt as welcome as I do here. And so if y'all are thinking about inviting someone, you should, because I wish I would have gotten invited way sooner, because I've known these people for less than a year, and I'm going to miss them so much whenever I have to go to Dallas. So.
Thank you.
Okay, I just want to say that every single one of you should hang out with your small group. Don't put the group message on Do Not Disturb. Don't ignore your small group leader when she wants to hang out. Don't do it. It takes the whole thing to a whole new level. You know, you have these people to encourage you and who are really building you up all the time, and you can learn with them and grow with them and pray for them. And I think that having people your age, in your same position in life and senior year, our senior group, we've been talking about college and things, and when you're with your own age group and you're really connecting with them and making sure you're investing in your relationships with them, it takes everything, it ups the game completely.
Yeah, that's incredible. All right, we're gonna do one more and the last one.
Yeah, so I'm gonna definitely agree with Bree. I was the junior that snuck into the senior small group last year, and it's whenever you're the junior in the any age group that's not yours, you don't necessarily relate to the same topics. Because I was a junior, I'm not thinking about going off to college. That's not my biggest worry. So I would definitely say that get connected to your age group. And I wish I would have done that because I've made so many friendships through my small group this year that I wasn't able to make last year.
Yeah, thank you. So good. All right, here's probably the most important question of the night. Yanni or Laurel?
Yanni.
It's both.
It's moral.
If you hear
All right. I'm sorry. I should have asked a serious question. Fortnite or PUBG?
PUBG, 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 PUBG.
Y'all, these are real questions that are coming through. Y'all are wild. Y'all are wild. Let's have some fun with this next question. Question.
Are you a Christian, Jimmy?
Why don't you give us, seniors, why don't you give us one of your favorite memories from 412? Just like a favorite memory from 412. Quick story.
Some of my favorite memories have been with the creative team, with the worship team, especially at camp. It's like a nonstop like cycle of just exhaustion, basically, but it is so, so, so fun. And so those are some of my most cherished memories.
Yeah, thank you.
I would say that this past year I got the opportunity to be an upturn, and all my other upturns are in here. And I think some of the friendships I've made with everyone have been like the most incredible friendships I have, and definitely like the friendships you get at church are going to be the best ones. Like they're going to guide you in the right direction. And I think our arguments that we have in upturnship are some of my favorite memories. They're pretty wild, but we still love each other, and it's a bunch of fun. So
Yeah.
if you want to be an upturn, you should do that next year if you're a
You
junior.
should, for sure. Seniors.
Okay, so the first time I came to 412, well, my sister had been coming to the PYA that summer, and then the first time I came, Jimmy had been creeping on my sister's Instagram, and so I walked inside, and Jimmy automatically knew it was my birthday. And it was my first time ever coming here, and he called me on stage and made me unravel like a toilet paper that had dollar bills in it. And it was also Ugly Sweater Day, and so I had a giant green bow in my hair. And I have never been so like embarrassed, but immediately felt so loved, like walking into the door in front of a bunch of people I didn't know.
That had to have been like 4 years ago. That had to have been so long ago. And it was called research, not stalking, okay?
For me, it's definitely camp and like Camp Jimmy and the mud pit war. It's
Yeah.
crazy, but it's definitely been camp because when your phones are taken up and you're just with your friends and you're just worshiping and stuff like that. It definitely brings out like the gospel and all the fun that you can have just being alone and with your friends in a camp. So that's definitely one of my favorite.
Quick sidebar, I want to see hands. How many of you are thankful that we take up your phones for retreats and camps? Anybody thankful for that? Look at this senior class. They know. Listen to their wisdom. Love you. All right, next to is the microphone. Melissa, down there, go.
Okay, so my favorite memory, going back to when we had a New Year's Eve lock-in, it was a lot of fun, but I remember this time we had of worship, and me and my friends were worshiping, we were praying on our knees, and it was just such an incredible moment. Like, it just so stuck in my memory, and we worshipped for like several hours, and it didn't even feel like that long. I was like, it's only been like, what, 10 minutes? And they're like, no, it's been 2 hours, and I went, what? So, but that was one of my favorite memories.
Yeah, I remember that. Those are good. Those are fun.
All right, my memory is kind of a behind-the-scenes thing, but it was about 2 months ago, 3 months ago. I think it was my second time playing the guitar for the worship team. And I don't know if you guys know who Carlos is. I'm sure a lot of you do. He's always back here doing stuff behind the scenes. He does awesome stuff to make the worship team happen. Anyways, well, I was told that we are allowed to have our sheet music for rehearsal, and apparently that's a big no-no. I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my music. I'm all nervous, sweating and stuff, trying to play, and like no one's in here. It's a rehearsal. Next thing you know, Carlos comes up and then he looks at somebody and says, "Anyone have a knife?" I was like, "What?" And then they hand him a knife, and he goes, "Grant, can I see your music?" And I was like, "Is he what?" And I hand him the music, and he just starts stabbing my paper with the knife. And I'm like, and then he's like, "No sheet
That's
music
funny.
for rehearsal." Throws it down, and I was like, "Dude, I don't have a printer. Like, how am I gonna learn this?" And he's like, "I'll print you out something." Anyways, that was my little tidbit.
That's good. That's good.
Mine would have to be an upturn trip that we took at the beginning of the year. I don't know if you guys remember, we had a little cold front. Well, during that time, we went to the beach. And, like, Jimmy said bet. And when he said bet, I just lost it. So he bet me to jump in the water.
Together.
Yeah,
Together.
Together. And, like, my favorite, I love this moment. I think about it every day. I was running, right? Like Usain Bolt, I was running. Forrest Gump, running. Anyways.
You don't have the video, do you? Because that would be perfect.
She has the video.
All right, well, okay, maybe we'll post it later.
We'll post it later. But I was running, right? And I was juicing, and then I know where I just turned around, and I just see Jimmy go pop. Apparently there was a big pothole that I missed, but the Holy Spirit got Jimmy and went pop. He went down hard.
Nah, bro, I rolled and kept running. That's all, it was so cold. It was so cold. Nah, I hit hard. It was terrible. It was terrible. All right, one more, and then we'll move on. Go.
Okay, my favorite memory is from the America Leftover party last year. And Jimmy comes up to me and he has this water bottle and he's like, Kendall, this smells really weird, like smell it. So I literally stick my whole face down in this water bottle and then he squirts it all over me and in my face. And I literally snort up water and it was
I don't remember
really
that.
bad.
America Jimmy gets crazy.
Yes, but it was really fun.
I was wearing, it was crazy. All right, so talking about memories, why don't a couple people are asking about your favorite sermon series and why. So maybe a teaching apart from that teaching, but your favorite sermon series, and then a quick moment of how that really happened, of the truth that really dropped in that moment. Go for that.
All right, cool. I'll take it. I didn't know. All right, my favorite was Sons and Daughters series. I don't quite remember how long ago that was, but it was at least 5 days ago at least. And so, at a minimum, it was a low ball. But really what the Sons and Daughters series taught me is that you shouldn't look for your worth in your peers, or you shouldn't look for your worth in anything besides God. And you are a son, you are a daughter of God. That's who he defines you as, and you should look to what he calls you and really put that to heart.
Yeah, go ahead.
My favorite series was the This Is Living series, and that was a super long time ago, probably like 3 years ago maybe. But it was talking about, I think it's John 15, just staying connected to the vine, talking about how all of our life and our fulfillment comes from God, and all of these things in the world will try to tell you that they will fulfill you, like partying, whatever. All the culture just makes it seem like all of these worldly things will fill you up, and that's what truly living is like. But truly living only comes from living with God, and that was really cool for me to learn. It changed my life.
My favorite, my favorite series was the You've Won Me series. In that series, I really learned to rely and to trust on God and realize that where my worth came from, where my value came from, because in the past, I have struggled with anxiety and things like that. And so just being able to go back to that series and remind myself, no, God loves me and he's enough, and yeah.
My favorite preaching moment that Jimmy has blessed us with was the kingdom is at hand, because the world will try to tell you that God is far away and that he's not accessible, but he is at hand. He is right there by your side. He is going to be for the juniors, seniors coming up, it's going to be tough, but he's right there. He's at hand, and all your problems will just melt away if you just remember that and pray and hold him close, because it is so much easier to turn to God than to stay in your head and worry and stress about things, because God's got this, man. Don't stress about nothing.
My favorite series that came from last semester. It was the series on fear, and it came during a time where I was struggling just with several things, and it was just a really good reminder, a good reflection, a good soul searching for me to be able to hear all the things Jimmy spoke about, and I grew a lot from it.
All right, when did the last one?
My favorite series definitely was way back when, Jesus Is, because that series, with that one, they all gave us this book to read, right? And we're just supposed to read it every day. And that little book, it just, and Jimmy's messages going along with it, taught me so much about Jesus, and it was really the first time I really connected to God and took it seriously.
Incredible. And y'all are amazing. It's the typical thing that I remember learning in Bible college is give away an Xbox and your youth ministry will grow. And I'm I'm going to give away books instead and they're going to grow. It's anyway, so if you got your journal, your purpose-driven life, your Jesus Is, your knowledge of the holy, I love you guys. How about this? This is a great question. And if you ask this question, find me after service because I want to meet you. When did 412 go from being a social club to truly following after Jesus? Gosh, what a good question.
I would say after winter retreat, like after like plugging off, like giving away my phone and like immersing myself and just being surrounded by it for like 24 hours or however long we were there. Where was I? Wow. So cross the line was like the moment I distinctly remember saying, I'm turning myself over to you and I'm trusting in you. I'm getting on your back. So like it wasn't like here physically, but like that moment for me was incredible. Like I've never experienced something like that. Just like I could literally like feel God's arms like cradling me. It was awesome.
For me, it became when at winter retreat we got close to one another. You start making relationships with people that you want to last. You get out of a relationship what you put into it. And so you got to start breaking your own boundaries, putting down your own walls, and because you can't expect others to do the same for you if you're not going to do it yourself.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, Ty, go.
Okay, I'll go. I just wanted to make sure. So winter retreat was first came to my mind, which is good. But then something else came to my mind. So who said small groups earlier? I don't know. Somebody said small groups. Bree. Okay, so so whenever small groups became not like, okay, these are the guys that are the same age and I have to sit here and pretend to like them, and it became an accountability group and people that I actually enjoyed and I actually got to talk about what Jimmy would talk about or hang out outside of church, things like that. Whenever my small group became personal, that's whenever it stopped being a social club, and it wasn't about the people in the small group, which it was. I love all of you dearly, but it was about the accountability and what that afforded me as a Christian was a group of good dudes that I could just be like, hey, this is what I thought I really liked. This is what Jimmy said. Hey, let's go like hang out and play laser tag or like do whatever. That was the moment for me when it was like, okay, yeah, this is not. I'm coming so that Ty can jump around and be goofy. I'm coming so that I can talk to my boys, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's good, man. Incredible. Go ahead, Kendall.
Okay, so during the You've Won Me series, there was a night when the worship team played a song called Pursue / All I Need Is You. And that night, God genuinely like brought me to my knees and broke me down. And like, I just heard him speak to me, telling me like, I'm bringing you here for a reason. Don't give up on like this church. Like, like if friends stop coming, like continue to come. Like, I'm here for you. I want you here. You're gonna grow. And I have been coming here ever since. And that's literally my favorite worship song. And I cry every time I hear it. But it was so good. And I like.
No, that's great. Thank you so much. I'm going to Diego, and then Hannah, and then Sam.
I would say 412 changed when my point of view changed. When the main point became the main point, and what I mean by that is that when I changed from being a fan of God to being a follower of God. So I just didn't want to know of God. I wanted to know God. Like instead of just be like, hey, you're God, I just want to call him Father. So I feel like just when my point of view changed, that's when my surrounding changed.
So no one knows this about me, but I'm deathly afraid of like water, like large bodies of water. It just freaks me out. Like I can take a shower obviously because that's gross. So like, but my biggest fear was getting baptized, right? And that's crazy because like honestly, like getting baptized isn't that big of a deal, like because it's just like tiny bit of water. But I didn't want to get baptized just because, can't swim. So it's like I just thought, no offense, Jimmy, but I just thought Jimmy was gonna drown me. No offense, I love you, but. So it was just really scary, but when I finally was like, okay, God, you got me, like, it's not that big of a deal, honestly, but when I got baptized, it was just like furthering my step with God a lot more, and it made me realize that that's when like it was a big deal for me.
Awesome. We're gonna go Sam, and will that be the last one for this question? Go ahead, Sam. Finish this one.
So first thing that came to my mind, like just like Ty, was winter retreat and just thinking about camps and things like that. And if the responses that you've gotten here are any indication, you need to go to camp. That's a definite. But I think that the biggest thing for me was just when I took ownership of it. 412 can stay a social club, and it can stay just a Wednesday night experience as long as you let it stay a Wednesday night experience. The moment that you come and that you are like, God, look, I'm willing to let you use me. I'm willing to come and grow. I'm willing to make sure these people feel loved. I'm willing to do good work in the kingdom here and right now on this Wednesday night. That's the moment that 412 changes from a social club to a family, to the purpose that it was meant to be.
Yeah,
so.
That's so good. Thank you, Sam. On social media yesterday, @k.nh6 asked, "What would you tell your younger self, knowing what you do now?" We actually made a video for this about giving biblical wisdom to the younger 412ers. And so why don't we show that video about giving wisdom to the younger 412ers with what we know now as seniors. Why don't you check out the screens?
Hi, my name is Kendall. Some biblical wisdom that I would give to the young 412ers is to start every morning off by connecting to the vine. It really sets your day up for success, and also just throughout the day talking to Jesus and making sure you stay connected to him.
Hi, my name is Avery, and some of the wisdom that I would share to a 412er is actually not to judge other people and to listen to their situation and hear them out, and then try to put God's word into that situation and try to share Jesus with them as much as possible, because those opportunities are so small, and if you're able to have one of those opportunities, take it.
Hi, my name's Joanna, and I'm graduating this year, and if I could give any advice to younger 412 students, it would be to pursue God with everything you have. Don't hold back, and then you'll be able to have everything that God has in store for you, and you'll be able to enjoy it all because of his unconditional love.
Hey guys, it's Grant. I've been asked to give you guys some biblical wisdom, some of you young 412ers. And one of the things I'd like to tell you about is Jesus' last commandment for us, which was to love thy neighbor as he's loved us. Basically, that means all the love that he's given us and shown us in our lives, to apply that to the people around you and not just like selfishly have it. And that's like one of the most important things we can do as Christians. Because even if you figure it out yourself and you think you're connected to God and you're doing the do's and not doing the don'ts and you have everything figured out, your job has just begun. Because we're ambassadors and missionaries for Christ. Yeah. We have a giant world we have to save, and that's one of the craziest things for me to wrap my mind around.
My name is Paige, and if I could give wisdom to any young 412er, it would be to not let the mysteries of God drive you away from him, but instead to bring your questions, your fears, and your doubts to him.
Hi, I'm Jenna, and some advice that I would have for younger students in 412 would be just to pursue God over anything else. While you're young, because you have your whole life to figure out who you want to be and what you want to do, but if you listen to God's voice and let him tell you who you should be, rather than your friends or your peers, you'll live a much more peaceful life and have a more clear vision of who God wants you to be and what his plan is for your life.
Hi, I'm Ty Fusile. I'm a senior here at 412, and any advice I could give to the younger 412ers that may be listening right now would be to take advantage of this opportunity, and I say that meaning the program in general. Not everyone is afforded this chance, and I think that one of my biggest regrets is probably not taking as much advantage of it as I could. And I think we take it for granted sometimes, but not everybody gets this, and we have a really good opportunity for accountability and for fellowship that not everybody gets. So my advice to you is take advantage of it.
Hi, my name is Emily, and some of the best biblical knowledge that I think I could pass down to the younger 412ers would be that as you're going through middle school and especially high school, to always realize that God stays the same and he never changes, and that this may be some of the most exciting seasons of your life and some of the most toughest seasons, and that you'll always have him to turn to and to run back to. So, yeah. And by the way, it's Laurel. Oh my God!
That's funny. I heard Laurel. So this last question, you know, we've received well over 100 questions tonight, and I'm gonna go ahead and share these questions with the seniors and ask them to do little selfie videos to answer some of these questions. And we'll post them online, and y'all can kind of just check in throughout the week and see maybe if your question got answered directly. You guys cool with that, seniors? Would you guys be willing to do that? But this last question, I wanted to give this honor to our seniors. And our seniors came up with this last question, and it's a beautiful question. And it's actually been echoed in multiple different ways in how y'all have asked it as well. And it's the question of this is it worth it? Is it worth giving up the high school experience, the stereotypical high school years to follow Jesus and live for the kingdom? So is it worth it? What do you guys think? Is it worth it?
It is so worth it. Like, it blows my mind to think, like, that I used to think that the high school experience and, like, partying and all that good stuff would be good stuff, and it's not. It's just so many, like, bad things happen, and just it pulls you away from true joy. Because, like, now I'm, like, connected in the Vine, and I have amazing, like, good friends here, and it's just so much more, like, filling, and I can honestly say I have way more joy now that I'm connected to God and, like, not doing the whole high school thing than I was back when I was trying to do the typical teenager high school thing. And it's so much better in every aspect to be connected in God and not, like, what the world is saying you should be doing.
That's so good. Joanna?
I got to live my life like this for 4 months. My journey with my relationship with Christ started 4 months ago, and I regret so much that I didn't start it sooner, that I was only able to be here at 412 and be with all these people for 4 months, but it has felt like a lifetime, and it is so worth it.
That's awesome. Savannah?
Coming from someone who has done that, it's so temporary, y'all. Like, sure, it'll make you feel good in the moment, but you're gonna walk away feeling so empty and like you're not worth anything. Like, those things in the end hurt you more than they help you. And that's coming from someone who's done it. Like, sorry. But using God as someone who feels that hole in my heart, it's so good. I deal with a lot of depression, anxiety, things like that. I've struggled with it my entire life. And this year, connecting to God, I've never felt happier. It's insane to me. It's like I did a complete, like, turnaround. Like, if you guys knew me before I came here, oh my gosh, like, it's just insane to me to look at who I was to who I am now and seeing God, like, actively work in my life because of that. And I can, like, clearly say that Jesus Christ saved my life.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Ty?
So, I've never really been the quintessential party kid, but I have attended parties in the past just out of sheer curiosity, honestly. And so a few years ago, I think it was Winter Retreat 2016, Jimmy preached about freedom, and it sounds strange because Christianity is typically regarded as that religion that, you have all these boundaries and you don't want to do that, and Jesus puts a little cage around you, but that's not true at all. And Galatians 5 says it is for freedom that Christ has set you free, and He crawls into your little cage that you put yourself in, and he takes you out of that. And that really hit my heart being at those parties when I looked around, and I'm like, God, God set you free from that. It's
Yeah.
not something that I wanted to be a part of, and it's not something that I ever put on a pedestal. And looking around, I realized that the way that I was living was worth it, and I hope that you all will see that as well.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, especially we're going into college. It's a pretty crazy time in a lot of people's lives, mentally, physically, morally, and I pray and I hope that we'll remember this time in our lives and our high school experience, to know who we're following and what we're doing it for. So.
Yeah, it's so good.
As someone who has experienced intense depression, I will say I have looked for quick substances to make me happy quickly, a quick fix. And they always come out as empty and temporary. You got to look for that eternal joy in things. Every
So
time
good.
before you make a decision, give yourself 10 seconds to think about that decision. Say, where am I going to be 10 years from now? And for those of you who think that God doesn't want you to be happy in this moment and you're going through something horrible, just know that if he didn't care about you, he wouldn't have sacrificed his only son for you.
It's good. It's real nice.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's way worth it. 2 Corinthians says that for our sake, he made him to be sin who knew no sin, so that we could become the righteousness of God. And when you understand that, and when you let God into your heart, when you realize that he died for you and that he just wants to be with you, that's it. He just wants you to acknowledge him and just be with him. There's nothing like it. And giving up the high school experience, there's no comparison. Zero. None. It's as simple as that.
So good. All right. Have y'all enjoyed tonight? Have you enjoyed this? Thank you, seniors. Thank you so much. As we transition to worship, they're going to need to put their chairs behind the curtain, and then they're going to come back up to the front. So go ahead and do that, seniors. And as they're doing that, if everybody wants to go ahead and stand. Psalms 90 and verse 12 is this beautifully written psalm where he says, teach me to number my days. So teach me to number my days so that I might gain a heart of wisdom. And tonight is a night of biblical wisdom, a night of godly wisdom from seniors who are done with 412. And many of them have spoken something, and I'm hoping that something, as we just kind of like launched a bunch of arrows tonight, one of those arrows God grabbed and took it right to your heart. I pray that maybe someone had a coin drop moment tonight or someone really connected to God tonight. But the question is for you to sit on this stage and give advice when you're a senior. They didn't just magically become like this. They trusted God and they were faithful. So I want to challenge you, 6th grader, 7th grader, 8th grader, 9th grader, 10th grader, juniors who are about to be seniors. It's your turn. It's your turn. There's many people in this room who used to be on this stage and they did their senior night, and this ministry doesn't just poof magically happen. It's a group of young people who believe that if we lived for Jesus, if we lived for the kingdom, that if we believed in ourselves as much as God believed in us, if we saw how valuable we were as Jesus saw us when he gave himself on the cross, then nothing could stand against us as a ministry, and this city could be transformed by the good news of Jesus. Amen? So the question is are you ready? You're up. This senior class, they've got a few more Wednesdays, and then it's your turn. You're up. Teach me, God, to number my days, to say, what can I do in these next few years that I might gain a heart of wisdom?